So today I want to talk about lessons from disaster. Now, a lot of times people don't give you any real world experience. And today what we're going to do is have kind of a discussion and rambling on an event that happened today. So I was sitting in the parking lot of the Family Dollar store. So a man drove into the Family Dollar store parking lot and drove off of it into a farm field. He kept spinning the tires in the field where all the tall grass was. I walked over and asked him if he was okay, and he was incoherent, and he had some EKG tags on him and no shirt. And it looked like he'd come from a medical procedure or was under care somewhere. And he wouldn't get out of the car, he wouldn't turn the car off, and he wouldn't stop with the gas pedal. So the tires started smoking and burning. So I went ahead and called 911 to get responders. And as I was talking, it actually started burning. So another guy pulled in the parking lot, and we ended up pulling the guy out of the car. Now, the issues were, number one, the guy says he doesn't want to get out of the car. But what that really meant was I'm handicapped and I don't want to get out of the car because I cannot get out of the car. And it wasn't until he actually was starting to burn that he would cooperate and we could have pulled him out of the car. So as the car started burning, the door seals and weather stripping failed on the car door beside his arm. So the fire entered from under the vehicle in through the cracks in that door and burned his legs and arms. So that's something you should be aware of. Now, the second part of that is he had a gun in the car. Now, I couldn't see the gun from where I was. The guy on the other side of the car could see it. So he said there was a gun in the vehicle. So the vehicle was engulfed in flames by the time we got the guy out, and we had to drag him because neither one of us could lift him. So we had to drag him away from the car. So a good thing to have is a drag belt. So we didn't have a drag belt. I used to carry one of those in my kit, so I'm going to put one in it. And with a drag belt, it is two military pistol belts hooked together because you can put that under their arms, even when they're unconscious, and you can drag them on the ground. Now, this guy was so heavy, we had to drag him from the ground because of the heat. Further on, the ammunition in the car actually cooked off when it was fully engulfed before the gas tank blew up. So the round that was in the chamber of the gun actually fired and went out the door into the woods. The others popped off in the frame of the gun. So as we know, loose ammunition is usually not that dangerous within 10 foot when it detonates because it has no barrel. But if you're working on a vehicle, a military vehicle, a police car that's on fire, you need to be aware that any weapons that have chambered ammunition are going to cook off and exit the vehicle. The ones in the vehicle may give shrapnel for 10, 12 yards. So we saw stuff actually blow off the car. So I don't know what else was in there that cooked off. One thing in our area is we have an upgraded 911 system. So once you place a 911 call, they can put your phone on block. And the reason for that, it gives them the ability to call you back for 2 hours if they need to talk to you during the incident. So you can't receive any incoming calls and you can't receive any outgoing calls with the exception of E911. So you need to be aware that your cell phone may be disabled after a call to 911. What I found was I could text numbers, but I couldn't call them. So be aware of that. Now, the next thing is it was almost 100 degrees before the vehicle fire. So it was well over 150 degrees, and the amount of water you needed to stay hydrated was massive. The last thing I'd like to talk about is the massive amount of people, but only 3 people actually helped the person in the vehicle. The next thing is when the first responder got there, he had a backboard. That made things much easier moving him, and it took 5 of us to pick him up on the backboard and put him on the stretcher to put him in the ambulance. So these are a few things to think about when you see disasters, vehicle fires, building fires. See you on the next video.